والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الفاتحة. زيادة لشرف نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وأصحابه الكرام، وإلى أرواح إخوانه من الأنبياء والمرسلين خدماء شرائعهم، وإلى أرواح الأئمة الأربعة، وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في الطريقة النقشبندية العلية، خاصة إلى سيدنا إمام الطريق واضح الحليق خواجة بهاء الدين نقشبند محمد وسيد البخاري، وحضرة أستاذنا مولانا الشيخ ناظم، وأستاذ سيد الشيخ عبد الله، وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين وأهل ختم الخواجة كان, and to the souls of our ancestors and family and brothers and sisters that have passed on to the other life, and rest of Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. It's never deja vu. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأنبياء، دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأولياء، القطب المتصرف، مدد يا رجال الله، طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجمعية. Grand Sheikh Maulana Sheikh Nazim is saying, every day the sun comes out. Do you say, oh, it is the old sun again? No, every day is fresh. Every moment is fresh. Even if we are doing the same thing over and over again, but it has always that fresh feeling. Even prayers. Every time you say, oh, I prayed Fajr yesterday or the day before or the day before. No, every day you have fresh grants from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why you don't get bored of it. You just keep doing it. Every time the prayer time comes, you do it with happiness, with eagerness. Now, if we are doing it with laziness, then we're in trouble, because that's the characteristic of hypocrites. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالًا
يراءون الناس ولا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the characteristic of the hypocrite, the one that says something by the tongue but holds something different in the heart. These ones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that إِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, when they make iqamah for salah, they arise for salah, قَامُوا كُسَالًا, they come up, they stand up, kusala, from kasal, from laziness. They are lazy. They are like, take their time getting up and another time, and they just do the fard and they leave the sunnahs. And so قَامُوا كُسَالًا يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ, they show off. There are a lot of people that show off that they are Muslims, that they are mu'mins, for a gain. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what that gain is. So Grand Sheikh Maulana Sheikh Nazim said, when we see the sun every morning, it's fresh. When we are doing our prayers every morning, it's fresh. So there's never a deja vu in the practices of Islam, in the practices of Iman. It's always something different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in our heart 5 stations, Grand Sheikh is saying. Because we have to reach the station of the heart. The first station is qalb. The first station is heart, the station of the heart, which is said it is barzakh. It is a barrier. It is between the soul and the body. The qalb is barzakh bayna al-ruh wal jasad. It's intermediary. It's in the middle between the soul and the body. The soul connects to the heart. The body connects to the heart. The soul kickstarts the heart. They say when the soul comes to the mother's womb, it connects itself to this heart. There is a spot in that heart that it connects itself to it, and the heart starts to beat. And when the heart starts to beat, the body starts to live, starts to move. So the heart is the connection between the physical being and the spiritual being. And through our journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine presence, we have to cross from the physical being to the barrier or to the intermediary between the physical world and the spiritual world, which is the heart. So the heart is a combination of both worlds, spiritual world and physical world. And that's what makes a human being the best of creation. Because the human being has combined the angelic world and the animalistic world in that heart. And then after the station of the heart, Grand Sheikh is saying there's the station of sir, the secret. The secret is the direction that the soul is taking. And the body and the heart is supposed to move with that secret, with that direction, towards ever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined that soul to move. And then you have sir, the secret of the secret. And then after that, akhfa, which is hidden, and khafa, hiddenness, absolute hiddenness. And Grand Sheikh is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in each station of these treasures that you cannot find anything equivalent to these treasures in the universes. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in each of these 5 stations. He has put treasures. But these treasures, they have a stamp on them, or they have a lock on them from the day of promises. When we were talking yesterday about the day that we were gathered in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He asked us, am I not your Lord? We said yes. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us treasures, gifts. You go to the Sultan, you don't come out empty-handed. Nowadays you do. But in the past they used to throw you a bag of gold or a bag of silver, or they used to give you something when you leave. That was the characteristic of sultans. So when we are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we have admitted that He is our Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Grand Sheikh is saying, on that day, from that day He has given us all these treasures in each of these stations. The station of the heart, the station of the secret, the station of the secret of the secret, the station of hidden, or more hidden, akhfa, and the station of hiddenness. 5 stations. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given these treasures without asking anything in return. But for the servants not to feel ashamed in front of their Lord, He said, do some prayers. So when somebody is doing prayers, he goes, oh, I prayed, that's why I received the grants. I fasted, that's why I have rewards, and I have stations, and I have gained Jannah. That's what Maulana is saying, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given these treasures. He doesn't want anything in return. He doesn't need anything. He is ghani. He is free of need. He doesn't need you to do anything for Him. Even if we do anything for Him, it's not going to increase or decrease anything. It has no weight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine presence. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look how loving He is. He doesn't want His servant to feel ashamed and shy. He told them, okay, do some prayers for me, do some fasting for me, and then the servant will feel that he has done something to gain these treasures. He said it's the example of a generous man. He gives a poor man something, but the poor man has a little bit of self-respect and let's say pride, but he loves himself, that poor man. So this generous man, he goes, okay, sit at my door and count the people that go in and out, and I'll give you treasures and gifts. Just count them in and out. So do something small, and I will give you everything. But even if he doesn't do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give. But that is the subtlety, al-latif. And latif means also kind. Very kind. SubhanAllah. So He has given these treasures. He has given these treasures, and they are being mahfuz, safeguarded. They're kept. They're kept for the servant to receive them. And that's what we call amanat. That's what we call that the sheikh has your treasures. that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. Not only the shaykh, but the shaykh of the shaykh, and then the Prophet, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. Grand Shaykh has explained that when we pass from the station of the heart to the station of the secret, the treasures there are being kept and safeguarded by the shuyukh of all 40 tariqas. That level, secret. After the heart, when we pass to the secret, these treasures are safeguarded by the shuyukh, by the sheikhs of the 40 tariqas. Like Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Sayyidina Mu'in al-Din al-Shisti, and Sahrawardi, and the others. They are safeguarding the treasures for humans. Whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim, it doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. Everybody came to this world mu'min. Everybody was present on that day of promises. Everybody. And everybody said yes. So when Maulana was asked, since when a human being was a believer, Maulana said he was a believer or she was a believer from that day. Everyone, a Christian, a Jewish, a Buddhist, a Hindu, an atheist, a Muslim, everybody is a believer from that day, before they came to earth. Everybody is a mu'min, whether they like it or not. Every human being is a mu'min, and Rasulullah ﷺ that he is born or she is born on that. That is hadith. That every newborn is born on fitrah. Fitrah is iman. For the promises we have given that day. So everyone arrives to this world mu'min. So the secrets, the treasures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted to each one of us are being kept at the level of secret by grand sheikhs in the 40 tariqas. So each one of us on our journey on these 5 stations, we are going to meet the grand sheikhs of all the tariqas. We're going to, inshallah, meet Sayyidina Imam al-Shazli. We're going to be meeting Imam al-Badawi. We're going to be meeting Imam al-Rufa'i. We're going to be meeting Imam al-Dasuki. We're going to be meeting all these beautiful grand sheikhs, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani. We're going to be meeting all of them because they are safeguarding my treasure. They're safeguarding your treasure. They're safeguarding her treasure. They are safeguarding the treasures at the level of secret. Now when we get the treasures, that's why Maulana Sheikh Nazim did seclusion where? At the maqam of Sayyid Abdul Qadir al-Jilani. You have to pass by the tariqas first. And Sayyidina Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi. You have to pass by these grand sheikhs in the tariqas to receive the treasures in the station of the secret. Once you receive the treasures in the station of the secret, then you pass to the station of the secret of the secret. That's why Maulana Sheikh Nazim, and a lot of people can relate or remember, that he said, a beginner in the tariqa Naqshbandiya is the one that ended the other tariqas. So when you are going through the other tariqas, you meeting the grand sheikhs of the other tariqas, they are giving to you what they have safeguarded, what they have kept from that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them that power to safeguard our treasures. We will be passing from them. So when you reach the highest level in all 40 tariqas, you begin the journey in Naqshbandiya tariqa. That is the station of Sirr al-Sirr, the secret of the secret. The grand sheikhs in the 40 tariqas, as Maulana Sheikh Abdullah has said in his suhbah, if they look at what treasures we have in the station that is safeguarded by the Naqshbandi shuyukh, by the Naqshbandi grand sheikhs, they will be burned. They cannot enter. SubhanAllah. So your treasures that are kept by grand sheikhs of tariqa Naqshbandiya are such power that if grand sheikhs of other tariqas look at your treasures, they will be burned. They cannot tolerate it. Look how much honor we have. How much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to a human being. So the grand sheikhs of tariqa Naqshbandiya, once we enter from the station of the secret, which is safeguarded by the grand sheikhs of the rest of the tariqas, to the station of the secret, which is safeguarded by the grand sheikhs of tariqa Naqshbandiya, when we are going in that stations, they are unloading our secrets to ourselves. They're giving their amana because it's a trust. It's not for them. It's a trust for us. but they're keeping it for us. So they are giving it to us, and we are continuing in that third station. The heart, the station of the secret, sir, which is mentioned in Surah Taha, فَإِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ السِّرَّ وَأَخْفَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the sir, the secret, and akhfa, which is hidden. Verse number 6 or number 7, right in Surah Taha. So when we are passing from the station of the secret, safeguarded by grand sheikhs of 40 tariqas, to the station of the secret, which is safeguarded by grand sheikhs of tariqa Naqshbandiya, we are being unloaded all the trusts and the treasures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given without asking for return. He has already given. They are giving us these stations and these treasures. When we complete that third station, we pass to the station of the hidden, akhfa. In Surah Taha, it's mentioned that word, akhfa, which is the hidden. And these treasures that are for each one of us, men and women, are safeguarded by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the seal of prophets. He is safeguarding this station. So in our journey, we are passing through the grand sheikhs of rest of the tariqas, through the grand sheikhs of tariqa Naqshbandiya, we are meeting all of them, and then we are meeting up with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is safeguarding our treasures in the fourth station. And then we complete our journey there. Inshallah, we all can do that. And he unloads the trusts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted him with to each one of us, men and women, humans. Not only Muslims, humans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given that from the day of promises. When we complete our journey in the station of akhfa, of hidden, we pass to the last station, which is khafa, absolute hiddenness. And that station, the treasures of that station is safeguarded and kept by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. And Grand Sheikh has said that if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam takes a peek of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is safeguarding for us, he also might not come back. I don't want to say that word, but he also cannot tolerate it. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept in that station, the last station, for each one of us, he himself is safeguarding our treasures. So he said, Maulana says that إذا ثبت رشد العبد وخرج من مقام النفس يعطى هذه الكنوز. When the servant, man or woman, is confirmed that they are rushd, they have reached the perfection of mind, let's say, the perfection of common sense, the perfection of discriminating between right and wrong, which is insanu kamil. When you have reached that perfection and you have exited the station of the lower ego and its desires, then these treasures start to open one by one. Otherwise, it will be kept safeguarded. And when the servant reaches that level, that these treasures are slowly open to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power will start tajri, will start penetrating through that person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power will start penetrating through that being. And people cannot object on that. Some people might, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, few days ago we talked about the holy verse about Sayyidina Ibrahim when he wanted to see how the dead is resurrected. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ قَالَ بَلَى
ليطمئن قلبي قال فخذ أربعة من الطير فسرهن إليك ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم.
That's the key word. فَادْعُهُنْ. Who is calling them? Ibrahim. So he said, chop them up, first put them all together so you know the birds, and then cut them up in pieces and put them on the mountains, and then you call them. He said, oh my Lord, show me how you resurrect, how you revive the dead. I said, okay, but you call them. That means the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to revive the dead has gone through the being of Sayyidina Ibrahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say, I will call them for you. He says, and chop them up, put them on mountains, and then you call them, and they will come to you running. So that power of reviving the dead, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one that owns that, has given that power to Sayyidina Ibrahim, and this is Holy Quran. So when Maulana says that when the servant reaches maqamul ajz, reaches that station, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will start letting from His power oceans, from His attributes, from His sifat, enter the being of that person, men and women. And he will be dressed from the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that maqam, that station that we have to reach for these treasures to open, is a station when there is no more power of the ego and its desires to push you to do something wrong. When we have no power to do any prohibited thing or forbidden thing, Allah subhanahu, that is maqam al-ajz. That's the maqam, that's the station of inability. Means that you are unable anymore to do any prohibition. You are unable anymore to do any forbidden sin. When we reach that, then these treasures will start to open one by one. And Maulana gives example. If he said, if you want to test yourself to see if you are at that station, the station of inability to do prohibited things, this is the key. أن يكون عاجزا عن القيام بأي منهي عنه. You are unable to perform any prohibited thing. And he gave an example, but we're all adults and grown-ups here, so I don't know if there are any children awake at this time, but Maulana said that when a man and a woman are in a room, who is the third one in the room? If you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are unable to do prohibited things, you pass the exam. If shaitan is in the room, then you have failed the exam. He said, this is the test. If you want to know, am I ready to receive these treasures? This is the simplest test you can give yourself. If a man and a woman in a room, are you able to control yourself or not? Man or woman. If you are able to control yourself, then you are at that station of inability to do a prohibited thing. If you are unable to control yourself, you still have work to do. And he says this is the simplest. This is fil maqam al-awwal. This is in the first station we're talking about. We're not talking about the secret and the meeting grand sheikhs and the secrets of the secrets, meeting grand sheikhs of Naqshbandiya and meeting Prophet and then going higher. He says this is the first station. If you're unable to do a prohibited thing, then these treasures will open up to you. And he says, this is very hard thing to obtain, to reach. And you cannot experience it with speech, with sohbah. You have to actually experience it in a state way, in a state form. You have to be in that situation to see if you can control yourself or not. And that's why hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that the one that controls himself when a woman invites him, or the extra party invites him, the one that can control himself and he says, I am afraid of my Lord, will be under the arsh on the day of judgment. To control your lower self's desires are very important. So he said there will be a test coming your way and a tajruba amaliya coming your way. There will be a practical experiment coming your way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we shouldn't go up that high as Maulana said. The Shaykh will throw in front of us a test. and in front of the test that is thrown in front of us, they look if you can pass it or not. And Maulana has said so many times, عند الامتحان يكرم المرء أو يهان. At the test, the man or woman is honored or dishonored. So the test will be thrown at in our face. We will be put in a situation that we will be tested, and most of the times the test comes for prohibited things. If you can remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you are encountering a prohibited action, that is true zikr. Not zikrullah like we do here, which is good. We're not saying anything bad about it, but this is different kind of zikr. If you can remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you are faced with a prohibition, that is the true remembrance of God. When you don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are faced with a prohibition, then you are not remembering God. You are ghaib, you are absent-minded from God. So he said that test will be thrown in our face or at our feet, and they look to see Grand Sheikh. We don't have to go higher. That's the Sheikh. He will look to see what do we do. Nowadays people say, oh, my life is for you, oh Rasulullah. Oh, my life is for you, oh Ahlul Bayt. Oh, I give my spirit, my soul for you. Maulana Sheikh says, no, we don't need that. All we need is to show yourself that you don't do a prohibited thing. That's what we need from you. We don't need you to sacrifice your soul for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't need to sacrifice your body for Ahlul Bayt. No. We want you to stand firm when a prohibition comes your way. Nowadays everybody sings, oh, fidaka ruhi. Oh, what's fidaka? Sacrifice my body and my soul for you. No, do leave that. When you see a woman that sacrifice your soul and body there, don't go. When you see a man, don't go. When you see a nightclub, don't enter. When you see a drink, don't drink. That's where you sacrifice your, not sacrifice. You do that there. Leave that, I will sacrifice myself, oh Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and sing, oh. All of them like that. Oh, we sacrifice for you. I don't want to say names, but no. If you see a nightclub, don't enter. If you see a gun, don't shoot. If you see a knife, don't harm. Well, this is what's important. If you see drugs, don't shoot. If you see drink, don't drink. That's what's important. Not to think that I will sacrifice my life for you, or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You will not reach there. If you are not able to prohibit yourself from committing little sins, how are you going to offer yourself in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You will be running away. You will be turning back and running away with shaitan and your ego, not in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's what's important. What's important, Maulana is saying that if you want to reach these treasures in the 5 stations, the first thing we have to do is when we encounter a prohibited thing, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there and not to commit it. When we don't commit it, inayatullah will come. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's care and support will come. When we commit that prohibition, shaitan will come. So we choose. And that's the first level. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us firm on remembering Him when we encounter a prohibition. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us success in that. That's most of our problem. That's we do something right, and then the next moment we do something wrong. And the next moment we do something right, and the next moment we do something wrong. That is what Maulana explained in the previous suhbas. That is the maqam of one day they're believers, one day they're unbelievers. One day they're believers, one day they're unbelievers. If you are wishy-washy like that, you're not trustworthy. They don't give you the treasures. Why are they going to give you treasures? You're going to misuse them. You're going to use them in different ways. Not in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, you're going to use it in the way of your ego. You're going to use it in the way of your desires. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us firm on that, inshallah. And inshallah we receive all these treasures. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given that honor and that these treasures to the servant, and He also allowed the servant to say that I have done something right and therefore I gained Jannah. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kindness. But Maulana is saying, the Grand Sheikh is saying that, but in the presence of awliya, in the presence of Ahlul Haqiqah, they are shy to say that we have prayed. They are shy to say that we have fasted. They say all these, whatever awliyaullah are receiving, they say all of this is from Fadli Rabbi. All of this from the grace of my Lord. All of this from the ni'mah of my Lord, from the grants of my Lord, from the favors of my Lord. They don't see themselves as have prayed anything or performed anything worthy to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nowadays, especially ourselves, when we finish Taraweeh with Khatm al-Quran, we think that we have done something so huge. And we start getting proud. But it's a good thing. But control that pride. Say, this is the grace of my Lord, that He allowed me to be standing in His presence. He allowed me to hear His holy words. He allowed me to be in the presence of Jama'ah and pray with Khatm al-Quran. That is from the grace. That's the difference. So with awliyaullah, they see every good thing they're doing as grace from their Lord. But with common people, they see everything they're doing as pride from they are doing it. So they get the pride. So Maulana is saying that we have to be careful, that we have to think that all these treasures, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is honoring us with, it's all from His grants. All from His grace. And not to say that we have done this, we have done that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give more. Ameen. Inshallah. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with us. Ameen. And help us continue our journey with Grand Sheikhs and with Maulana through these levels. But so many people, they say, I've been with the Sheikh 40 years, nothing opened up. Okay, did you test yourself at a prohibited thing? Maybe Maulana said one time, okay, you pass one time, you see a prohibited thing, you don't do it. Okay, one level up. Second time, you don't do it, another level up. Third time, you don't do it. Okay, you did it 20 times, prohibition. You did not commit prohibited things. Now you are very high up. You do one, start from the bottom again. So that's why persistence. You have to be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim all the time. You have to be on the straight path all the time. Because if you are gaining, and you can feel it, when you, like now after Ramadan, you feel that you are feeling good. And then you have reached some level, maybe you can start seeing good dreams, good visions. You see yourself with shuyukh, or you see yourself in Jannah. Some people say, I see myself entering Jannah, which is all good. But then after Ramadan, we start doing bad things and we go down again. Back to you have these games in the levels. You go all the way to the end, you're going to reach, and you're going to enter the door, something hits you. You start from the beginning again. So don't let anything hit you. Shaitan is ready to hit us. Always ready. He doesn't even sleep. He's at your bedside. Even your mother is not at your bedside when you're sleeping. Unless you're sick, and that's different. But not when you're healthy and having good dreams. He is at your bedside for hours. Some people sleep 16 hours. He is there. He's your best friend. So he will hit. Let's be careful from that. That's why we always have to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Anytime we face a prohibition, we have to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And Maulana said that the saint that's responsible for humans will reach to you. When you say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, you are asking support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because there's Allah there. A'udhu billah. I seek shelter in Allah. From who? From the cursed one. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends His servant, His saint, to help you. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. Ameen. Help us in reaching the highest level we can reach. Oh our Lord, help us Ya Rabbi. Rabbi ighfir warham wa anta khairur rahimin. بحرمة الحبيب وبحرمة الفاتحة.